he asked me what was my idea, how it might be treated. And I said I hoped it would have some of his rich and lovely colours in it. He said, yes, and how do you manage that I might treat the subject, the arts to the glory of God? And I said, well, I really can't tell you how to treat the window. No, it would help me, he said. And I said, I imagined you could treat it by putting little vignettes round representing the different arts, leading up to the central figure, to the praise of God at the top. And that's precisely what he has done.
So we're now standing in front of Chagall's beautiful window. Vanessa, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, it's one of Walter Hussey's very last commissions. It came into the cathedral in 1978. And in fact, it's towards the end of Chagall's life as well. So Chagall was a very famous, well-established artist by this stage. It's a typical sort of Chagall depiction of Psalm 150, which is a psalm where the whole creation, all the creatures, all the people praise God. So it's just simply a celebration of God. It looks like
a real celebration.
It really
is.
is,
You
yes.
have so many different characters in the work. I mean, you've got sort of the horse at the top and sort of people with maybe tambourines.
Yeah, I think they are tambourines,
really,
yes.
yeah.
And they're dancing, they're not static.
Yeah.
And the very composition of the glass draws your eye up until right at the top you have the figure of David on an ass or a horse playing his lyre. Yeah. So your eye dances around the window as it moves up.
And the colours are so beautiful as well. I mean, he's used so much red. Do you think that's something that he sort of thought about beforehand? Why do you think he used so much? I mean, it's so unusual for a stained glass window.
It is unusual because very often they're more orientated towards sort of blues or greens or something. And I think it's just simply, it's the colour of celebration for him. And of course, yes, red and blue complement each other, and it's just a magnificent display of colour. And again, the very colour of the window itself, echoing the praise of God.
I think I read somewhere that Hussey was the person who actually started the negotiations.
He did, yes.
And the sort of organisation with Chagall. But actually, this came in after he.
It was installed in '78, so it's a year. It was a year after he ceased to be dean.
And it took 9 years, didn't it, or something like that?
Yes, extraordinary.
It's such a long time,
Yes.
isn't it? I don't know why it probably took so long. But
I don't know the details of that one, I'm
maybe
afraid.
Chagall was
Yes.
just a little, slow in organising it, or maybe he just worked. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also think of Marc Chagall as somebody who really works in stained glass. I always think of his paintings and sort of think of his very beautiful depictions of his hometown and depictions of love, and they're sort of more his traditional works. And you can really see that this is by Chagall, though. It's something that you could almost miniaturise it and put it in, on a canvas, yes. and it would look like a Chagall. It's something that's very typical of his work, and it's just so beautiful to be here and to see it.
And also, of course, for us in the cathedral, Chagall comes from a Jewish background. There's an echo there of the Freibusch paintings we have here in the cathedral. Again, another Jewish artist working within a Christian context. And so for us here in the cathedral, that's important because we've got the combination there of two traditions.
Yeah, and was that something, do you think, that he felt comfortable with and felt very sort of familiar with the space and happy with that?
Yes, Chagall was happy working like that, and obviously Walter Hussey, completely happy as well.
And does the light come through this window at particular times of day? Is it a north wall?
It's a north-facing window,
right.
So it doesn't shine through as much, obviously, as it would through the south side of the cathedral. The advantage of that, though, on a day like today, when it's very bright outside, and we're getting a very, very steady, diffuse light through the window. So the window, in fact, is looking at its very best today.
It really is, isn't
Yeah.
it? We spoke a little bit about the John Piper tapestry and obviously the Graham Sutherland, and how they were slightly more controversial works, particularly when they first came into the cathedral, but also today and how people react to things today. What do the public think about this wonderful Chagall window?
Well, it had by and large good reception when it was first put in, and that continues to be the case. People will stand here and absolutely delight in it. It's often the reason people have come to the cathedral to see the Chagall window.
Do you think there's a little bit of a change between the 60s and 70s then? Do you think by the time, Graham Sutherland's work came in and John Piper and sort of the Firebush and other works that are in the cathedral, do you think people were just very accepting of modern British art coming
They were
in?
becoming more acceptable, but again we go back to the point I made before. This is very colourful, yes, but it's in the context of stained glass, and people are used to having colour in stained glass.
They are.
And also it's figurative. For all the abstraction that are there, nonetheless, one of the things people enjoy doing is puzzling out who the characters are, and there's so much to see, so they're able to interpret it. So you'll particularly hear children saying, "Yeah, look at that, mummy." So it's something that draws their attention, they can understand it.
And actually, it's not really in competition with the other stained glass windows around, is it? Because the one next to it is just clear glass, and it sort of has its own space and its own sort of purpose as well.
Which does, interestingly, create problems for us as a cathedral. Again, it's thinking about works of art, which this is, in a liturgical context. We're actually standing in front of the shrine of St. Richard, the Bishop of Chichester, and it does genuinely create problems for us as people come here to see the Chagall window, but pilgrims are also coming to visit the shrine. So we've got a slight conflict there that we're not entirely certain how to resolve. But what it does do is having the Chagall window here draws people through the cathedral to come and see it.
And then they're able to explore the wider
And then they
space as
explore the
well.
wider space, and generally they're wowed by it.